Greetings, this is Vane and welcome back to Mordor, Depths of Dejenol. Okay. Now, how did I miss that? I was probably too busy talking, never mind. Never mind this. Pop that in there. Yeah. So, yeah. Been talking a lot about basically autism, how help, that sort of thing. Not spoken about anything too controversial on this one. But yeah, one of the things is that I have decided that I'm going to end this series. Saying that, I can keep the save file. I will keep the save file. And maybe I may come back to Mordor. Just as a sort of, I've got time to do a chill out thing. You know, I've got 7 parties on the go at the moment, one of which is dead on level 5, so we're not going to see that for a while. So essentially I've got 6, and that's 2 each of good, evil and neutral parties. So I mean, it means even if I just go through, you know, once, because I tend to record like 4. I mean, if I can get 4 episodes when I do a recording block, because once I get into a rhythm, it's easy to stay in that rhythm. Then, if I've got 6 parties doing at least 4, then you've got at least 24 episodes, which is almost a month's worth of content. So I may well come back if there's demand for this game in the future. Just to, you know, especially if, for example, my schedule clears up a bit, I can always come back to Mordor. So, thinking about what to do next. Now, I mentioned it before, but I mean, I'm kind of tempted to do. I'm not sure. I'm kind of tempted to do either some Kairosoft games. They tend to be quite short. No, one or two. They tend to take 1 or 2 months. I've got quite the collection of them now. I mean, I do love the Kairosoft games, even if I don't actually play them. I've played them to death on my phone, but mostly they're just sitting in my Steam collection right now. I might do that. The other one is, like I said, I've kind of rediscovered a Warhammer 40,000 4X game that I've been enjoying playing recently. Gladius, so I might do that. It's very much a toss-up between those two, I think, at the moment. Of course, saying that, this month's Humble Games are due to drop for Humble Choice, so there may even be something in that that takes my fancy. I mean, I will have to see what I feel like when I'm done this, because, like I said, I am gonna finish this, and I will finish this today. I believe this might be episode 3, so I think the next episode is going to be the last one. I'll see how I feel. I feel like recording some more with this party, then I probably will. But I will end this series in the next few episodes. I know while I've got Elder Scrolls Arena going on, because, well, I'm coming up close to 2/3 of the way through that game now. Bearing on one of the points I'm doing with that is I don't want it to be a speed run. So in between doing each of the dungeons, I've taken the time out to kind of just make sure I can get a go and explore one of the random dungeons, maybe do a couple of quests, that sort of thing, just to make it a little bit more organic, you know. So I probably won't do another long form game on that regard. And to be honest, I probably won't do another Elder Scrolls game. I mean, I will have a bit of a consideration as I get near the end of that one, what my next long form game might be. Because they tend to be kind of the role-playing games that can time things that take hours upon hours upon hours. Which I tend to keep separate from my 4X strategy games, which tend to be kind of more replayable and emergent than anything else. Ooh, okay. And that's several times there's been so, for whatever reason they do or don't turn up, that room has been restocking properly for this thing, so yeah, okay. I mean, I've got quite the list of games I want to do. Which are basically divided up into various different categories. For example, okay, it's like I've got my sequels, which is basically one of the next step on a franchise that I've already covered. I tend to do most of those under my long form. Doing under me kind of long form playthroughs, especially because I mean they're kind of games that I've not really completed, but are enjoyable anyway. And depending on the sort of game, they tend to be like various amounts of work added to it. I mean, some of the old games, for example, they didn't even have an auto map. The big part of it was that you had to draw your own maps to get through all the mazes. I mean, Might and Magic, for example. And therefore, what I want to do, if I can figure out how to do it, the best way to do it, two-handed 3.1. I might go to an iron hammer then. For you. Go. Iron hammer. Yeah, if I can figure out how to do that. Then I will. Right, well, when I say the best way, I mean, because for something like that, I would be taking time to map out, and I don't really have the software that would allow me to do that. So that would be pretty much done by hand, which then makes it hard to show you the maps. But what I could do, if I was to do something like that, is basically, I mean, I do have mapping software because of I do have mapping software. I just did you. We'll go and check. Yeah. So what I could do is once I play using drawing the map and then basically show you the maps. I did this, so yeah, okay, fair enough. It was a new one, I've got to start a new one, okay, fine. And then I could draw the maps and show you the maps digitally. But that would probably be a lot of work. But it's probably going to be the truest experience of the game and what makes them so great or not so great. You know. And quite often with those long form games, I will often throw a poll out. That was another reason I used Patreon. But since now anyone can put a poll on YouTube, you know, it's like most of the reasons Patreon, and now you can do that on YouTube. You don't need to do Patreon. I think the only thing therefore is that Patreon is often a way to get money for people to be able to subscribe before as your channel's growing. That's probably the best way to describe it. You know, and And like I said, I subscribe to the 1,000 fans theory, which is basically I can get 1,000 people to pay me £1 a month, then that is good income. That's enough for me to like say, okay, I'm full-time and to come off benefits, you know. That's, I've got a job. It's my job then. As opposed to saying that it's a hobby. I mean, if I had, it would be that sort of thing there. If I was working, I'd be like, yeah, I can give up my work and do this full time. Even though technically I'm already doing this kind of full time. Since I kind of do it around my other, anything else I've got scheduled going on. So but yeah, like I said, that would be a reasonable. That's a reasonable income for. Sounds stupid, for a low wage. And of course, if you've got 1,000 people paying you on Patreon, then they're probably going to be subscribers. Which again means, because I have actually got, I only have 3 people paying me on Patreon, but I have got 125 people who like my channel enough to subscribe. Which has shot up thanks to my arena Let's Play. So, and of course, if I get to that point, I mean, I will keep my Patreon going anyway. But it'll be, I'm not dependent on Patreon now. It's useful, like I said, I've got 3 Patreons, so I'm getting basically £3 a month. Which adds up. You leave it for a couple of months and it's like, oh yeah, there's 15 quid in there. Which helps in emergencies or covers. I mean, that's like, okay, that's a 3 month on Netflix or a month's humble bun, a choice, you know. So it does help, and I am grateful for it. And it's supposed to be, oh well, if you're doing Patreon and you want to make money doing Patreon, then you should be doing extra stuff to encourage Patreon support. And it's like, no, I don't want to. That's not part of the 1,000 fans theory, if that makes sense. The 1,000 fans theory is to find the 1,000 people who like what you're doing, how you do it. And for me, because those 1,000 people, but they support you, and because they're supporting you, other people can get the content for free. Because what they're essentially doing is backing you to keep creating more content or publishing more stuff. that regard, it's like I'm not really putting anything behind a paywall. Everyone gets everything for free. Maybe a few posts for Patreon supporters, thanking them for being Patreon supporters. Maybe, you know, and previously to do polls, because that was one of the ways to do it. You know, other than that, and that's kind of important for me. Yeah, I know, but yeah, we'll do another one. I'm kind of liking this. You're getting some good loot. It's relatively quick. Yeah. there are other things I've been considering as well. I mean, I've been saying this quite often, but I mean, I used to be a big fan of The Sims. Big fan of The Sims. And I've actually done a Sims Let's Play of the original. Now, I'm kind of miffed that the original Sims games aren't playable on modern systems. Basically, the copy protection, the irony of the copy protection was based on sec drive, and there was an exploit found. So basically, Microsoft removed it from Windows completely, and therefore, basically these games using that copy protect system, no longer runs. And now, you used to have the option to kind of get round that. Well, I mean, it's not quite correct that they got rid of that completely. They didn't. What they did is they changed it so the sec drive system file doesn't actually do anything, but can't be replaced. They've essentially turned that option off forever, which is annoying, because in earlier versions of Windows you could. And now I'm not sure that this system is up to, you know what, emulating. I mean, not even sure it'll work. You know, could I emulate a copy of Windows, say Windows 95, and then try and see if I can get The Sims to run that way? Because then I can use the CDs, because the patches struggled, and that's the problem. The no crack patches struggled under Windows. And admittedly, I would have to, but I didn't save The Sims, so I would have to kind of start again, but that's fine. But I do really want to kind of show off. Alternatively, I mean, because The Sims 2, I believe, didn't use sec drive, so I do have a portable DVD ROM drive, which I could use to basically run or attempt to run rather the Sims 2. Then of course there's the other things, because I mean, I like emulators as well, right? And had a thing for doing those, and I mean, I wouldn't mind covering some emulator. I'm not particularly good at some of the old platformers and stuff like that. But I do like them. I mean, the Commodore 64 was my favourite, but I've actually played pretty much a whole bunch of games on a whole bunch of old 8-bit systems, so. And I do watch kind of Let's Plays of old emulator stuff, be it the early consoles or such as the NES, or early 8-bits. No. Of course, again, it would be like finding time to actually do them. But those are like other things that I could do if people were interested. But a lot of those basically takes work to kind of finagle and get to record, whereas for the most part, anything on a PC you can pretty much do using DOSBox if it's in DOS, or quite often we'll be able to run under Windows under its own Steam. So and quite frankly, my gaming collection is massive. They're more than I'll ever play or let alone complete in my lifetime. I use GOG Galaxy because not only do I have a whole load of GOG games back when it was good old games, but you know, it's a way that I can keep a record on the majority of my collection. And I have well over, I think it's 2,200 games now. Although some of them can be like, not quite DLCs, but kind of, well, okay. I will do this. Short car. Yeah. Anyway. Plenty of options, because there's a lot of kind of old classics in there that I could do, not including, which doesn't necessarily include like the sequels of stuff, especially sequels that I've already done. I mean, I've got, is it the I've got like I've done 2 of the UFO trilogy, so the third is always an option. What else is there? Fallout, the original Fallout series. I've done the first one. Oh, and of course then there's Heroes of Might and Magic 2. I can't forget that, considering this channel started with Heroes of Might and Magic first. Basically because I was inspired to do this by watching Meridian, who does a lot of Heroes of Might and Magic content. And the one game he hadn't covered was Heroes of Might and Magic. Because, like everybody, spent more time doing Heroes of Might and Magic 3 and then 2 simply because 3 is generally regarded as the best game in the series, with good reason. It's got to the point that basically it's iconic now. And as much as Ubisoft tries to improve on the format, they've never really succeeded. And the irony is the closest that they come to succeeding was Heroes of Might and Magic 5. Which basically shows that Ubisoft themselves don't have a clue about the genre and what people like on that genre. Because they keep trying to simplify it with various things, and that doesn't really work. Heroes of Might and Magic 6 is okay, I guess. I actually quite liked Heroes of Might and Magic 4, which was the last one done by 3DO, but because that was a departure from Heroes of Might and Magic 3 on purpose, that kind of broke the community a bit, and therefore didn't really see what it was when with Heroes of Might and Magic 3. So it was a bit of an outlier, a bit like the Adventurer Link in the Zelda franchise, you know, very much experimental. And it's like, okay, this is not the way we want to go. People don't actually like this, so that's because it's a bit too different. Therefore, we're going to go back and not carry on with this and do it this way instead. Which is when we got Zelda 3 on the SNES. So, or known as A Link to the Past, which is still, I think, is my favourite game. Okay, what have we got? Yep, we're done. I am going to leave it here. This is Vane doing Let's Play Mordor, Depths of Dejenol. If you like what you're seeing here, be sure to like, subscribe, share and comment. Please consider sponsoring me on Patreon. As I've mentioned previously, it's only £1 a month, and I really do appreciate it. And until next time, goodbye.